Hello GTM Gurus, it's Ed here again from Metric Mogul. Today we're going to be talking about enhanced e-commerce, the favourite subject at the moment. And we're going to talk about add to carts. So what we're going to be doing is on my fake site, I'm going to be tracking these products, and whenever someone clicks the buy now button, I want to fire off enhanced e-commerce add to cart code so I know how many people have added this product to their cart. So that's the mission. I'm going to show you two ways you can do that with GTM. So quick recap for those who haven't been following these these tutorials. On each page I have this data layer already, which gives me the product information. It's not in the format that GTM requires, so we're going to have to do a bit of manipulation of this. And yeah, that's on each product page. So there it is. So what do we need to do? Well, first off, whenever someone clicks this button, we need to... I'll show you method one first. Okay, this is method one. So I'm going to inspect this element here, and you can see that we have an ID of add to cart. So I'm going to set up GTM so that whenever this buy now button is clicked, that causes a trigger and our tag is fired. So let's sort this out. So first up, I'm going to create the trigger, but in order to do that, I need to add in a custom built-in variable here of click ID, because click ID is the thing that is going to tell my trigger whether it's the add to cart button that's being clicked. So once that's done, I'm going to come over and create a trigger called add to cart. There we go. And this is going to be a click. In fact, I'm going to do all elements, some clicks, and when click ID equals add to cart, because that is the ID of our element in the code, if you remember, right there, add to cart. All right, so that is our trigger now set up. So what do we want to do when this trigger fires? Well, we want to fire a tag, and the tag is going to be very similar to this product viewed one we created earlier. So I'm going to copy that. Don't worry if you didn't see me do that. I'm going to show you how to do it now. Product added to cart. There we go. And this is a universal analytics tag. It's of type event. E-commerce, the action is product added to cart. Funny with these naming conventions. There we go. And the label can be the product name, which is being picked up from the data layer, which we have already set up in GTM to be pulled from this. Non-interaction hit is true. And this is where the crucial bit is. So we're going to tick enhanced e-commerce features. And rather than use data layer, I'm going to read from my own variable. This is the previous one, so I need to change this to a new variable. But I haven't set up that new variable yet. So for the moment, let's get rid of this trigger. I'm going to add in the trigger I just created, add to cart. So that is all done. I now need to change this to be of a new variable. So I'm going to save that, head over to variables, pull up my old product detail view and copy that and call it e.product add to cart. There we go. Now, for those of you who don't remember, this structure is the structure that GTM expects your data layer to be in. But because our data layer is not in that format, oops, the wrong window. Because our data layer is not in that format, because I'm using the example here where the devs have already put on a data layer onto the site and it's not in the format you want, and you have to change it and manipulate it into the GTM format. So that's what we're doing here, just to make our lives more complex, because in the real world these kind of things happen. Okay, so each of these variables is being read into variables I've created called dl.product. I'll show you that. See, all of these variables are reading in, and then I'm placing them into this new variable called e-commerce data, which is the thing that that is used by the product add to cart product viewed. But I'm going to copy this again because I didn't save the changes. This should all make sense once I've finished. Add to cart. There we go. Now, the format that GTM expects it in is all available in the docs, in the official Google Docs. If you search Google for GTM Enhanced E-commerce, you will get the format. But for me, I've already done it, so I'm just going to paste this in. Okay, so this is the format. You have the e-commerce at the high level. You have your currency code. You have add, which tells GTM that this is an add to cart. And the products, you have a products array, and we've only adding one product. So just got one object. There's all the information about the product, including some custom dimensions we've set, and the quantity is 1. Now, obviously, if you have one of those, if you have a website where your product page has a little box where you can add more than one of the product at the same time, you would obviously have to pick up that number into GTM and set it here. For example, dl.product.quantity, something like that. Okay. But for the moment, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to assume we don't have that, so you can only add one at a time. All right, let's save that. That is our variable ee.product add to cart. And now I need to go back to my tag, the product add to cart, because remember, I hadn't changed this. It's still on product detail view, and I'm going to change this to add to cart. Okay, so in theory, whenever this add to cart element is clicked, this trigger will fire, which will set off this tag. This tag will send an event, and with that event, it will send our e-commerce data, which is the add to cart. So let's give that a go. I'm going to preview this. Just wait for it to load. Perfect. Refresh the page. So we've already got 2 tags firing here, the GOA base tag and the GOA product viewed, which is what we expected, but the add to cart has not fired. And you can notice that the add to cart has already been populated with our correct data, right? So we can check that quite easily straight away. It's got all the right information in there, but it has not fired yet because I have not clicked the button. Now, I'm going to click this, but what's going to happen is I'm going to be taken to the next page, the basket page. So you will very quickly see this will go from the not fired up into the fired, but it'll happen very quickly. So watch it carefully. I'm going to click buy now. There we go. Did you see it? It went up there. I'm going to show you that once again. Let's try it with a roast chicken this time. Okay, not fired. Boom. Did you see? It got fired there. Now, obviously, that's not an ideal way to check. It's a bit hit and miss. So what you can also do, I'm going to bring up the inspect window here and go to network and filter for the word collect. This shows me all the calls going to GA. So you'll notice when I clicked on roast chicken there, I got the page view of product 2. I also got that's the page view as well. And product viewed there, roast chicken. I think this is one's the response going out, and one's the data coming back. So don't worry about there being 2 there. I usually do my debugging in Firefox with a tool called HTTPFox, but don't worry about the fact that we're getting 2 there. I think that's all right. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm just going to clear that so you can see what happens. Oops, I can't scroll down. All right, I'm going to hit the buy now, and you'll notice that, well, what it's done is it's just showing me the page view for the basket page, which is a bit rubbish. So I forgot to actually click this button here, preserve log, which otherwise when it moves from page to page, it just clears all the information. So we'll try that again. I'm going to go in here, clear this. All right, try it again. Click the add to buy now button. And there we go. So, oops. Just to show you this. Okay, so there is our event. Product added to cart. Pasta bake is the product. And these are the parameters that I'm looking for, which prove to me that this is working. So PA is the action, PR stands for product, 1 stands for the index of the product. So if you were adding more than one product, you would have PR2, PR1, PR3, etc. NM is name, ID, price, and so on and so forth. So I know there that all my data is being sent to GA correctly. So there we go. That is one version of doing it. All right, second version. Let's pretend that you didn't have your, the trouble with doing it this way is that if this ID changes, then your code breaks. So as I've said before, I prefer to use the data layer when I'm doing stuff like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do onClick equals, and I'm going to do a data layer dot push. And I'm going to push an event called add to cart. I don't think that needs to be in quotes. There we go, event add to cart. Just like that. Okay, so now whenever this is clicked, it's going to, I'm just going to do this for all the products. It's like that, on click, data layer push, add to cart, fine. Final one, awesome. Okay, so all that needs to change now is our trigger, really. So instead of having this original add to cart, where we were looking for an element ID on the page of equals to add to cart, I'm going to change it here to, I'm going to change this tag completely, if it lets me. Yeah, I don't want a click this time. I want a custom event, and my custom event is called add to cart. All right, and we don't need this anymore. And save that. Okay, so pretty much there. All that we've changed now is the trigger. I'm going to preview this. This is just giving you a couple of examples. There's always more than one way to do stuff in GTM. So you kind of have a trade-off between what's quickest to do and what's best long term, and you have to make that decision depending on how quickly you need the data and how your site is and how quick your devs are at doing changes and how likely the site is to change. So all of this, as good analysts, you should be aware of, and you should be making these critical decisions and informing your marketing team what is best. Okay, so let's try this again. So I'm going to refresh this page. There we go, we've got the 2 tags. I'm going to bring up the inspect window. Go to network, filter for collect, collect, of course, preserve the log, and hit the buy now. And there we go, you can see we still have the event firing, so it is all working as before. So that's 2 methods of doing the add to cart. Obviously, when your devs implement this, they wouldn't have to go around like I did, copying this onto every page. Normally, each product page would be a template, so they don't have to change one page template, and then all the information would be injected in there automatically. So it's all pretty simple to do. Right, so there we go. The next thing is to show you how this looks in the Google Analytics reporting interface. Here I am in Google Analytics, and I'm going to head down to the Conversions e-commerce product performance report and flip over to the shopping behavior tab. And here you'll see we've got our 2 products. Obviously, I haven't visited Sausage and Mash today. And we've got the product details views. Those were coming from a previous tutorial. But this is what's new. We now have product add to carts. We can see how many times these products have been added to the cart, which is exactly what we want. And not only that, we now get this lovely calculated metric, the cart to detail ratio. This is essentially this number divided by this number. So it's showing, it's basically saying of all the people who visit this particular pasta bake page, how many people add it to their cart. And that's a very useful metric for merchandisers even. Because if you're getting a very product with a large number of views but no one's adding it to their cart, then there's clearly something wrong with that, potentially the price, and you need to do some testing of that. Whereas if you're getting a product like this one, where it's pretty much always added to the cart. I know these numbers are not statistically significant, but imagine these are in the thousands. So everyone who sees this product adds it to their cart, which is obviously very good, but not enough people are seeing it. So this is the kind of product I would maybe promote as an upsell or promote around the site using banners. So you can also create your own custom reports, which I have done previously. So here I've got my can microwave custom dimension, which we created in the earlier tutorial. And again, I can see here the product adds to cart, and I've got the full list of products again here. I haven't actually got, I have got cart to detail ratio on that one. But let's say we've got our can contains meat, true or false. We've got the product add to carts. And now I want to add the cart to detail ratio to these two, just to give us a bit more information. Just do that, and off you go. There we go. Now we've got product add to carts and the cart to detail ratio. So that is it. I hope you found it useful. If you want more GA tips, then please subscribe. I'm putting out quite a few enhanced e-commerce videos. Hit my channel up, look at the previous videos, and this should give you some more background information into everything to do with Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager.